Welcome everybody to another Geometry Dash tutorial. In today's video I'm going to be teaching you all how you can make a random portal. So we're going to make a portal that once you go through is going to choose one of those random game modes and it's going to make you that game mode. It's a very cool gimmick, lots of really unique levels use it. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do that step for step for absolute beginners. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is actually create the portal. We want to have like a custom portal that doesn't have any of those colors. So the first thing you want to do is go to this level ID, type it in, and then go into it, and then you want to copy this level because it has the custom portal made by this guy, which is a massive W. So we're just going to go ahead and copy it, and then you're going to go to the editor, and there we go. You can see they look absolutely beautiful. So you can also add like a custom thing over here. Even the particles are there, perfect. Only 140 objects, phenomenal. So let's just first give this a color. Let's just make it so you can change the color ID of 1 to make it the color that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make one constantly change in rainbow. So it's going to go from red slowly to orange. So to do that, you just add this color trigger and copy and paste, move it around, and then do green, copy and paste, move around, blue, move around again, blue, and then this pinkish guy, and then this one, the first one goes to orange, so we actually need to go back to red, and then we're just gonna loop these guys. And to loop them, all you have to do is select all of those triggers and go to here and click on create loop, and that is gonna basically create those triggers. And now you guys can have this phenomenal looking portal, which is completely random. Even the particles are random. This is awesome. Very phenomenally made. Okay, so now the actual concept. How do we make the concept? Well, we first have to actually add the portals. So each and every single one of them, you have to add them. And remember, if you are in platform mode, you can't have these two as of right now, at least. But other than that, you can just add all of your portals. You can add them wherever you want, really. But I would suggest like on the left side of this this line right here. And then what you want to do is click here and click on new group X, and what that's going to do is give each of them a new group ID. Go over here, enable the show object info, and then in here you guys can see the group ID. This one has 8 over here, this one has 9, 10, 11, and by the way, we used group 2, 3, 4, 5 and all of these, and also 1 when we made the loop, so that's why we are starting with 8. So those are our portals. We go here, so they are from 8 all the way to 15. So now what we want to do is we want to individually deactivate each of those portals. So we're going to add a toggle trigger right on top of this icon, and then what we're going to do is give it the group ID of 8 over here in the edit object, and then the next one is going to be 9, copy and paste 10, 11, 12. That's why I used the new group X feature. It's really cool and it's really helpful and it saves you a lot of time. So now we have deactivated all of those portals, and now we're almost done actually. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select every single portal again, and we're gonna give them a new group ID. So we're gonna use 16 here, so all of them have to have that group ID. And then what you want to do also, just to make sure this actually works multiple times, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste this and use it 2 times. So what we want to do now is we want to add a unique object on these guys, which is already existing here. So this circle, which for me is on layer 8, there's this circle over here, which is perfect. So we want to select that, and you want to add a trigger right on top of it, so exactly like here. And then you want to scale this spawn trigger and make it a bit bigger like that, and make it on touch trigger and also multi. And what this is going to do is this is going to be the one that's going to activate the portal to switch you to a random game mode. So I'm going to just move this to here just for now. And for now, touching this trigger is actually going to change the random portal. And the next step, what you want to do is add any object you want, but it cannot have a hitbox, so no spike and no blocks. So I would always recommend one of those particle objects. Let's use this circle over here. Give it an ID of 17. Actually, I'm going to use this icon. It doesn't really matter anyway, but I'm going to use the icon. And then what you want to do is move this up. You don't really have to, but I just want like keeping things organized. So these guys, all of the portals are 16, and this one is 17. So we want to move 16 using the advanced follow trigger towards 17. So all of these guys are going to move onto this guy, right? And then we want to move 17 towards the player. And what that means is that we're moving all of those portals directly to be on the player all of the time. And if you want to be even more optimizing, you can remove this and add a single advanced follow that is going to make all of these portals follow the player, P1. And this way, if we remove these guys or move them to here, you guys are going to see that all of these portals are going to be on top of the player. Now, the reason why I did this weird thing is because those portals have to be down here. And now you guys will start to see that all of them are basically moving to here. This one, if you move it back, you guys are going to see that, yes, all of those portals are on top of the player at all times, which is exactly what we want. So now what we want to do is, by the way, F3 to show the hidden objects over here, preview mode. And now what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and add the random functionality using the advanced random trigger. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to be... So the best way to do it is to select all of these guys and give them a group ID of, let's say, 17. And you make them spawn trigger and multi-trigger at the same time. So that means they have to be triggered by another trigger in order for them to do their action. So what we're going to do is spawn these guys, which is 17. We're going to spawn 17 directly at the start. So instead of playing all of these guys, we're going to play them through this. And that is important because in here, we're going to need that as well. So at first we're going to do that, and then we're going to allow a random one of those to appear. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to copy these guys. And then this time, instead of all of them having the same group ID, each one of them has to have a unique one. So we're going to go ahead and select them all and click on New Group X. And what that's going to do is give them the groups from 18 to 25. And we're simply just going to go ahead and add into the advanced random trigger 18 to 25. So 18, 19, 20, 1, 23, 4, 5, and so on. And now what you want to do is you want to select all of these and make them active group. So what we're doing is we want to randomly activate one of these portals, right? And the problem with this now is that if we do this advanced random over here, you guys are going to see that it definitely works. Like the game mode is completely random as soon as you hit this advanced random trigger, which is cool, but there's a small problem with it is that if you trigger it 2 times, it's going to be weird because now you have 2 portals on top of each other, which is going to lead to a lot of issues. And also these portals are not really reusable. So you can only get cube 1 time and not multiple times. So to fix that, what you want to do is, of course, select all of those portals, go to edit special and allow multi-active. This is very, very important. And then what you want to do is, let's first bring back our advanced. Where is the advanced random? Did I actually delete it, or what the heck did I do? There it is. I think I deleted it, but whatever. Now it's here. So before we activate the portals, we want to deactivate every single one of them, right? And to do that, we're simply going to add this trigger. So this trigger 17, which is going to deactivate all of the portals. We want to trigger that before we trigger the random trigger. So do that, just add it on the left side of it, and then give them both a group ID and make them spawn and multi-trigger. The group ID is going to be 26, and that is exactly what you put into here. So now, as soon as I enter this portal, a random portal is, as soon as I enter this trigger, a random portal is going to appear, which is perfect. However, there's a small issue and small fixes that needs to be done with the portals to make sure they always work. And the first one is that you guys saw how the player kind of went up, so we're going to fix that in a bit. But what we're doing here is we're spawning 26, which is these guys, and the first one that's going to get spawned is the one that's on the left. They both get spawned like almost instantly, but there is still an order, so they all get deactivated, and then we activate a random one, so that if we trigger it one more time, then let's say the swing copter is now active, then we again deactivate every single one of them, and then activate the new one. So that is exactly what we're doing. And to fix the issue with the random border, what you can do is you can't actually select them all and do this, so you have to manually go to here and adjust the settings over here. You can adjust them as you wish, but you can also use the camera mode trigger, but the problem with that is that as soon as you enter the portal, it's going to have borders, and then you're going to change it to no borders, which is going to be very weird. You can use this one, which has the same settings, but it doesn't work that well. So now we are very, very, very close to the end. So now, as soon as you touch this, the random portal is going to appear. So we're going to select them all and make them on hide using the extra settings. We're going to move this to here. Also, just to make it extra perfect, you're going to add a random portal, anyone you want, and just see this hitbox. And let's just make this spawn trigger exactly the same hitbox as the actual portal. So something like this. We're going to add it on top of that, and then you can make it on hidden. And now we don't need this anymore. And now this should work. So now if I enter this portal, I'm going to be put into the ball, which is perfect. Exactly what I want. Now so you guys saw there was an issue where I switched to the wave and then I switched directly back to the cube. And the reason for that is because we're triggering this 2 times. And to fix that, you could either go ahead and deactivate the multi-trigger on these guys over here. You just deactivate the multi-trigger on the spawn trigger so that each portal can only be triggered once. But if you want platformer mode, you can add these guys to a sequence, which I'm going to do real quick. So these guys are 27 and this one is going to be 26 this time. And we're going to trigger it with 0.01 and we're going to trigger 27 once and with a loop. And what that's going to do is that you can basically only trigger that trigger only like once every 0.01 seconds. So you can't like spam trigger it, right? So now it works and we're getting the same over and over again. And if you want to do it so that it's never the same, so that if you become the cube, you will not be the cube again. To do that, you're going to have to actually add a bigger system to kind of compare your current game mode and make sure you don't get the same ever. But I think this is actually pretty cool. So you change to a random game mode. Let's just quickly make a random, icon over here. We're going to use this question mark. You're going to place it on top to make sure that it's visible. And yeah, I really hope you guys create some excellent stuff with this. We're going to make this extra white, kind of like that, like a light version of what it currently is. And yeah, I really hope you guys, learned something new. I really hope you guys create some awesome stuff with this. And yeah, just let me know if you guys need any more tutorials. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to test it out in normal mode over here. And yeah, subscribe, the like would be highly appreciated. So portal over here, portal over here, portal over here. Why did I get shipped 2 times? I was about to showcase that it's actually random, but it didn't really work. But now it's working, which is pretty cool. So that's exactly how you create a random portal. So yeah, big shout out to this guy for making this awesome looking portal. And I hope you guys learned something new, and we'll see you guys in the next video or stream, who knows. Also, click one of those videos that are currently on the screen. They're going to teach you so much about the Geometry Dash editor. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys.